In the previous lesson, we discussed three core concepts: algorithms, automation, and augmented decision-making. In this lesson, we'll review more about each one and explore how they work together to create real business value.
You'll also hear about decision intelligence, the strategic framework that brings these concepts together and guides you in knowing when to leverage AI and when human judgment is irreplaceable. So back to algorithms. Imagine you're trying to decide which customer to target with a new product launch. Traditionally, you might look at purchase history, demographics, and you might use gut instinct. An algorithm does something somewhat similar, but at scale. It takes the data you provide, purchase patterns, browsing behavior, demographic information, past campaign responses, and applies a set of rules or learned patterns to predict which customers are most likely to respond positively. In machine learning, algorithms improve through exposure to data. You might show the algorithm thousands of examples, at least, of customers who purchased similar products in the past, whatever amount of data you have to share. Now, it's going to identify patterns there. Maybe customers in a certain age range who purchased product A also tend to buy product B within 3 months. The algorithm doesn't understand why these patterns exist. It simply recognizes them and uses them to make predictions. So this is why the quality of your data matters so much, because poor data leads to poor predictions. It doesn't matter how sophisticated the algorithm is, it has to have good, clean, accurate data. It's not going off of gut instinct per se. Consider fraud detection in financial services. An algorithm analyzes millions of transactions looking for patterns that indicate fraudulent activity. It might notice that legitimate transactions tend to follow certain geographic patterns, or occur at certain times, or fall within typical spending ranges for each specific customer. When a transaction falls outside of these patterns, the algorithm flags it for review. The algorithm provides the pattern recognition at massive scale. Human analysts then contribute their judgment, but not necessarily on every single transaction. Instead, they often provide that judgment in the form of rules and parameters that the AI can then apply automatically. They might establish that transactions under a certain threshold with specific risk indicators should trigger automated customer notifications, while transactions above that threshold or with different combinations of risk factors should be escalated to human review. Obviously, the business has to be involved in the identification of which of these rules are appropriate. The AI then automates these well-defined judgment calls based on the specific data results and human-created rules. Depending on the parameters set by the human decision makers, the AI can either automate the appropriate response, blocking a transaction, sending a verification text, or processing it normally, or alert human employees with comprehensive information they wouldn't have easily compiled in the past, including the system's logic and recommendation based on those human-established rules. With automation, we're now moving far beyond simple repetitive tasks. Traditional automation worked on fixed rules. If a customer submits a support ticket about password reset, send them the password reset link. Simple, predictable, rule-based. AI-powered automation handles more nuanced scenarios. It can read the customer's message and understand the intent, even if they don't use specific keywords, because it's been trained on thousands of similar messages and learned to recognize these patterns in language and context. It can then determine the appropriate response and adapt based on the customer's history and context. If we think about supply chain management, traditional systems reorder inventory when stock hits a preset threshold. AI-powered systems consider weather forecasts, seasonal trends, shipping delays, supplier reliability, and local events that might affect demand, or they can if they're programmed to do all this. And they can do all this dynamically, adjusting the orders in real time. So in this case, the system isn't just following these basic rules, it's adapting to changing conditions with more complex directions, making contextual decisions that previously required the human judgment just because the technology couldn't yet. So it's not because these decisions were inherently too too complex for machines. It's just because the computing power and the data access didn't exist to make those necessary logical connections across multiple variables in real time. But automation works best when it handles the routine so that humans can focus on the exceptional. Your team really shouldn't be wasting time manually processing standard invoices because that's perfect for automation. They should be handling vendor negotiations, resolving discrepancies, building strategic supplier relationships. So when things are juggled around and managed effectively, automation isn't eliminating these jobs. What's it eliminating is the tasks that are just time wasters, just time absorbers, freeing your team for that higher value work that requires their creativity, their relationship building, and their strategic thinking. This is where real business growth is happening because it's true, at the end of the day, humans buy from humans. The relationships your team builds, the trust they establish, the nuanced understanding that they bring to customer needs drive sustainable growth and competitive advantage. For your role as a leader, augmented decision making is where AI becomes most relevant. It means leveraging AI insights while maintaining your human judgment, values, and strategic vision. Let's think about how augmented decision making works. AI presents the insights based on current market trends. Launching product X in Q3 has a 73% probability of meeting revenue targets. Now you bring context the AI can't access, undocumented competitor moves that you've observed through industry connections, team capacity considerations that go beyond what productivity data captures, upcoming personal commitments, for example, skill development needs, strategic insights from executive conversations that haven't been formalized in accessible data, early stage partnership discussions, and brand positioning nuances that exist in your leadership vision, not in the documented systems, data that the AI can't even access. The AI is providing data-driven recommendations, and you're providing the judgment, ethics, and strategic thinking that determine that final decision. Let's say imagine you're deciding whether to restructure your team. AI can analyze productivity metrics, project completion rates, communication patterns, and resource allocation, and it might identify inefficiencies or suggest optimal team configurations based purely on the data. But you might know things the data doesn't capture. Sarah is mentoring 3 junior team members, which temporarily reduces her individual productivity as far as what it looks like in the data, but it's building long-term team strength. It's helping the company, the organization overall. Now, Michael's projects might look delayed on paper, but he's navigating a difficult client relationship that could open new opportunities. Or the team recently went through significant change and they need stability. So the AI is giving you those valuable insights, but you're providing that human judgment considering the factors the algorithm can't measure. It doesn't include morale, growth, relationships, timing, organizational culture. Augmented decision making is not about choosing between AI and human judgment. It's about combining both, therefore augmented, right? Use AI to process information at scale, identify patterns, and surface insights. Use your leadership to interpret those insights within the full context of your organization, values, and strategic goals. So algorithms, automation, and augmented decision making individually we've discussed, but decision intelligence, this is really hot right now. It's a framework that brings all 3 together to drive better business outcomes. What it is, it's the discipline of using data, AI, and human expertise to make better decisions. It's not just about having data or having AI tools. It's about creating a systematic approach to decision-making that leverages the strengths of both technology and human judgment. You can think of decision intelligence as the architecture that determines when to use algorithms for pattern recognition, when to apply automation for efficiency, when to engage human judgment for strategic thinking and ethical considerations. Decision intelligence starts with understanding the decision you need to make and the factors that influence it. Then it determines which elements can be handled by AI and which require human insight. Pricing strategy, for example, algorithms analyze market data, competitor pricing, and demand patterns. Automation adjusts prices dynamically within parameters you set. Augmented decision making presents insights about optimal price ranges. And you, applying decision intelligence, make the strategic call about where to position your pricing based on brand strategy, market positioning goals, and competitive differentiation that goes beyond pure data analyses. Decision intelligence is what ensures you're not just using AI because it's available, but because it's the right tool for the specific decision at hand, helping you identify which decisions benefit from AI assistance and which require purely human judgment. As a leader, decision intelligence becomes your framework for evaluating when and how to deploy AI capabilities, helping you ask, what decision am I trying to make? What information do I need? Can AI provide pattern recognition at scale for an applicable aspect of this? Should automation handle routine aspects? Where does human judgment add irreplaceable value? This framework prevents two common mistakes: relying too heavily on AI for decisions that require human values and context, or ignoring AI insights when they could significantly improve decision quality. Just think of all you could do if you could have all the information available to you presented in an effective, consumable way so that you can quickly get that when you're trying to make decisions. There's so many times when we don't have all the data points that we need. So all these concepts interconnect and work as a system. You can think of customer retention. Algorithms analyze behavioral data to predict which customers are at risk of churning. Automation triggers personalized outreach campaigns based on those predictions. You make the strategic decision about how aggressively to pursue retention versus acquiring new customers. Now, with the support of all this extra information, with these AI-generated insights that connect far more data points than you could manually analyze and than you had before, it gives you more complete pictures of factors like customer lifetime value patterns, brand positioning impact, and optimal resource allocation across different scenarios. Think about hiring. Algorithms screen resumes for qualified candidates based on the criteria and parameters humans established, the specific skills, experience skills, and qualifications that matter for your organization. Automation schedules the interviews and sends the communications. AI can also surface insights about potential cultural fit by analyzing communication styles, work preferences, career trajectory patterns, or even responses to personality and situational questions designed to assess values and work style, providing you with additional information to inform your assessment. You and your team make the final hiring decision, bringing together AI-generated insights with human evaluation of team dynamics, growth potential, interpersonal skills during interviews, and strategic needs. This combination of AI-supported analyses and human judgment helps you make more informed hiring decisions that can improve employee retention, team performance, and team compatibility. The algorithm provides efficiency and pattern recognition, automation handles the routine work, and your judgment provides strategic direction and human insight that turns data into meaningful action. So understanding how these concepts work together helps you identify where AI adds value in your specific context. You want to look for opportunities where algorithms can process data at scale to surface insights you'd otherwise miss. Identify routine pattern-based tasks where automation can free your team for more strategic work, and recognize where augmented decision-making can enhance your judgment without replacing it. The key is matching the right AI capability to the right business challenge. In the next lesson, we'll talk about applying these concepts to the leadership challenges you face regularly, from evaluating AI proposals, communicating changes to your team, to identifying where AI investments are going to deliver the greatest return for you.